Now, to discuss the implications of the troubling rains, I'm now being joined on the news at 10 by the Commissioner for Environment here in Lagos, Mr. Tunji Bello. Thank you so much for making it here on the news at 10, and we do hope you didn't have a rough time making it in.
No, I never had any.
All right. Well,
thank you.
Here we are again. About this time last year, we had the mighty July flood that we talked about for months. What many are asking is nothing being done, or was nothing done between that time and now to stop this sort of, this type of scale of problem from happening again?
Well, a lot has been done, and I think many Lagosians can confirm that. If you compare the level of complaints that we had last year with what we had today, it's totally different. As this time last year, we had over 227 complaints. Today, we have only 31 complaints, which means we have made a lot of progress. Well, significantly, the major areas we have problems with is Areas-Tunji, Shomolu, census area in Surulere, Oshodi, and they can be explained. Each area. Now, for Areas-Tunji, where we have problems today, that is a low-lying area. And we've always said that if you live in a low-lying area, if you have a rain of high intensity that lasts more than 5 hours, you are very vulnerable. Now, don't forget Areas-Tunji is in the middle course of our alignment. The whole of the water coming from Ikeja, Oregun, Allen Avenue, Ojota, they pass through Areas-Tunji in Maryland.
Those are some of the visuals from Areas-Tunji. When you say the people are vulnerable, obviously the government is there to do something to reduce the amount of vulnerability.
Of course.
And I actually wanted to bring up that issue because when you're talking about there was some sort of dredging done at the time, and a lot of people argued that the dredging wasn't done properly, and that is why Areas-Tunji was overflooded today again. How would you respond to that?
I'm even happy that you said the dredging was done.
I didn't say it was done. I said it was alleged to be done.
Somebody was even saying that it was not done. Somebody was on your television was saying it was not done. I'm very, very glad that it was done. It was done in March. And even in the resident association, they came to us. We were all there, and they all commended us. Now, you can't have a rain of 10 hours. This rain started 10 o'clock yesterday, and then last 8 o'clock this morning. And then people live in a low-lying area. They automatically become vulnerable. They are hemmed in the middle. The whole of the water coming from Ikeja, Oregun, and then you find Areas-Tunji. Okay, is part of it. All the water coming from Shomolu is also comes to that alignment. And then at the downstream, the lagoon has risen and locked the water. Automatically, they become very vulnerable. Now, tomorrow again, we are taking the dredger because a lot of situations has occurred because of the high rise in the level of the lagoon, which has brought in a lot of situation and so on. So tomorrow again now we are taking the dredger there to go and dredge it downstream, so to provide the relief, so that in case you have a high intensity of rain, that's for those alive. Now for Oshodi, the problem with Oshodi is on the culvert on the federal road. That is on that Agege-Motor road. Now we have now designed a parallel line, which is going to be completed in the next 2 months, so that I will take the water parallel to the railway line to another alignment that will relieve the whole of Oshodi. For satellite, where they had problem today, satellite is, the problem was yesterday when the road was designed, when the road was constructed. The road was never there before. So when the road was constructed, already the estate that experienced the problem on what they call Ijegun Egba Road, when the road was constructed, the estate had been there. So they didn't pick the right level. So their water could not discharge into the drain that was constructed by the government. So that, which means now they would have to find a way to construct a parallel drain that decides to the lagoon. That is the problem.
Okay, let me stop
so each area has its own peculiar problem.
Let me just
so you cannot generalize.
I'm not general. What most of the residents say, residents in Areas-Tunji, residents in Shomolu, like you've said, is that when these things happen, the reaction comes, but it's not thorough, and then it happens again. So what is not thorough there? Can you explain what is not thorough? Well, what I'm trying to say, the residents have begun to tell us from the people from when we went out there, is that for Areas-Tunji, some dredging they say was done. Yes. But it was the dredging didn't go all the way down into the lagoon. How did they know that the dredging was done? In fact, at Areas-Tunji, Okealo, all of the same alignment. There are about 3 major works going on there, all coming from Shomolu. So just to know the emphasis of played on that particular area. Now, let me tell you something. Don't forget that Areas-Tunji is a swampy area. Yeah. When the development was done in that place, it was done haphazardly. Nobody ever bothered to fill the place off. So you are already below the line. The water table is very high. So automatically, they are very vulnerable. You have a rain of 10 hours. There is nowhere in the world
There's nowhere in the world that will have a rain of 10 hours. You not have a backflow either on the road. Now go to all the major streets in Lagos now. How many roads are flooded today? How many roads are flooded at this hour? Automatically the water will disappear. So when you have a rain of high intensity, automatically when you live in a very low lying area, as well as in Lagos, the water table in Lagos is very high. Automatically the road. It happened last year, even on the July 10th, when we had a rain of high intensity. By 2, 3, 4 hours after, the water had dissipated in most of the roads. You can't say all the roads in Lagos are flooded. Not the road is flooded today, as at this time.
What we're actually asking is that we have a lot of visuals coming in from our viewers who've taken pictures with their phones and given us some sort of idea of what they've been through today. You've explained that of Arojabe. What else are you going to tell the viewers, those who live in Sholi, Bagada? What is going to be done for them? Because what they want right now is to know that help is coming their way. Well,
for Okealo, Sholi, by the time the dredger goes back to go and dredge the downstream, particularly where the lagoon has brought in a lot of sedimentation, I mean, the rain that's likely to happen the next 2 weeks or so, because we're at the peak period now, I think they provided the relief. As for Shomolu, already Shomolu has provided the relief because the blockage that occurred as a result of the backflow from Okealo and Sholi has already been removed today. So Shomolu, I don't even say that Shomolu should have problem. But for the satellite, they will have to, the estate will have to construct a parallel. It's a private estate. We will try as much as possible to assist them. We have to construct a parallel drain that will run across the road. The road we completed around the lagoon.
Finally, just for me to get one last one in, it's interesting that the authorities are asking those who are vulnerable or those who live in such areas to move. What plans are being made for them?
Well, we've always said when we have emergencies in Lagos, we know we are the most prepared when it comes to responding to emergency. We have emergency centers. Our people are out. They recognize the areas that are very vulnerable. And let me ask you a question. In the last, it has been since March. You never had this problem. They never had this problem. Because you had a rain of high intensity to the rain of 10 hours. So it should be expected, particularly for Lagos. So you should look at what has happened since March. No, this kind of thing was never recorded since March. Only for today. And then it became, a problem. The whole of Lagos was flooded. You are now portraying as if the whole of Lagos was flooded. Only a few areas are flooded today.
We're not portraying that.
No, but you say Lagos, overtaken by water. There are many areas. I said, as at this time yesterday. As at this time last year, you had 227 complaints. Today you have 31.
Because the visuals speak for themselves.
No, it speaks now, but not the whole of area that was flooded now. The whole of Lagos was not flooded today now. It's only from parts of Lagos, which is expected anyway. And given, what we have said earlier, that this to be expected. So if you live in a very low lying area, we've said the water will dissipate with time. It is normal. It's a normal thing that happens.
We'll watch and see how it goes.
Exactly.
And then we hope that the ministry will do all they can to keep residents safe, because that is exactly what they're there
that's what we've been doing. That's what we are asked to do.